everybody, it's Mike. Just wanted to share a little bit with you today about the training topics that I'm going to be offering here. I didn't want to make these decisions in a vacuum, so I had a post last week, actually over the weekend, where I talked about 6 researched ways to increase productivity. And pulling the research in really did a great job as far as growing the engagement and the views on that post. So I want to do the same thing with the training topics. I've identified some gaps in the workplace, and you've probably heard me say gaps between what businesses need and what education provides, as well as what employers need once they have these employees within their workplace and how they continuing education and professional development for their staff to increase their productivity, their retention, and the performance of the organization. So what I did was I created a survey and I shared it with my network on LinkedIn, and we've been gathering some information here today over the last few hours, and I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you here in my network. So the first thing, which may be surprising to you, it wasn't really to me because there is some documentation on this disconnect. The majority of the respondents so far have been employees. We've got several managers that have answered and a few business owners and a couple of consultants. We need to take into account that my network is global, so these are not just organizations in the U.S., but this is global perspective. So I asked some questions about how satisfied or dissatisfied are you with the training that you're receiving, the job-specific training as well as the personal development training. Is there career advancement opportunities within the organization? 1 through 5 type of questions. So the first thing you notice is that the majority of people are very dissatisfied or dissatisfied with the amount of training they're receiving, whether it's personal development training or job-specific training. So we see this a lot, that organizations may have a new hire onboarding program that lasts 1 week, and then they kind of throw people into the fire and say, figure it out, ask questions if you have them. The documentation says new hire onboarding should be at least a 90-day process where you continue to review and coach to shorten the learning curve and get people up to speed, because the quicker you do that, the quicker they become profitable and they start to pay for themselves within the organization, and everybody wants lower overhead. So that's the first thing we see. When it comes to the top training topics, where we have an even number tied for number 1 between soft skills training tied with wellness initiatives and coping with stress in the workforce. I think a lot of companies will talk about health incentives, maybe even do a Fitbit competition once a year. But when it comes to coping with stress, that's often overlooked. In the article I shared about productivity, something I found that was prominent at a Google research study and in Amazon's 14 principles for employees was about psychological safety and being able to ask questions and challenge opinions while feeling safe in doing so. So I think that dealing with stress, a lot of that comes down to psychological safety. If people are internalizing their true feelings and they can't voice them comfortably, then that creates stress on the job in addition to anything else that could be mounting there. Soft skills training is huge. There's several components of soft skills training. A couple of these, which are tied for second, are actually soft skills, right? So we've got business communication, because we know there's communication breakdowns, lack of expectations, lack of feedback, constructive criticism. There's not much coaching that's occurring in most organizations to help people overcome their challenges. So we see that as a high demand training topic, as well as applying emotional intelligence in the workforce, and this will also help with the stress-related issues. We also saw a high demand for managing a multi-generational workforce, and a lot of this has to do with the next one, which is tied there, which is mentoring, cross-training, and career ladder coaching. So these two go together. You've got young people in the workforce facing stereotypes. You've got older generations in the workforce facing other stereotypes. And what needs to happen is there has to be a knowledge transfer between these. The young kids come in, they're good at technology, they're good at social media, they should be sharing what works with the older generations, and the older generations should be having a knowledge transfer of their 20, 30 years of experience in the organization and how that can translate down to the younger workers to help them get a grasp on the company and where it's headed and the culture that exists. And more importantly, when you put mentoring and cross-training programs in place, is that you develop personal relationships within the organization. So you start to have people shadowing, senior executives. You have them having advocates within the organization. And again, this is shared in the 6 research-based productivity recommendations that was in the article I wrote the other day. So you should connect with me on LinkedIn and check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Some great little studies and statistics there to support these things we're talking about. What we also have at the lower end of this, and they're tied as well, is personal branding and content marketing strategy, which applies more to sales and marketing roles or departments within organizations, and new working parent career coaching. Because when it comes to retention and brand loyalty and employee loyalty, the best thing you can do is understand where your employees are in their life and what their priority is. And having a new child changes things up for people. So maybe they need some more flexibility in their work schedule. Maybe they need a little more understanding on the ability to work from home or to, some flexibility there. But when you understand and relate empathy to where people are in their life, as a leader, an executive, a manager, you're going to be in that position as well where you got to step back temporarily. But stepping back doesn't mean you do less. It means you make better use of your time to be productive in the time you have available. And by working with people through these life changes, you will get loyalty and performance from them like no amount of money could purchase. So these are a few of the topics that we see in high demand. This is what we're going to be offering to our clients. If you have other topics of interest, please share them in the comments. Share this message with people within your organization. We want to help everybody do more, and be better. And I think with ongoing continuing education and professional and personal development, that everybody has that ability to do better and be better than they are today. And organizations can take a lead in that and developing a culture that's going to support their organization for the long term. So I look forward to sharing more of this with you in the future. When the survey is finished and we've got the results at scale, I'll publish something as well. But have a great afternoon. Mike, look forward to talking to you again. If I can help you in any way, reach out, find me on LinkedIn, and let's connect. Thanks, everybody. Take care.